Hello, good morning, and welcome to the information session about the Doctoral INPhINIT Fellowships Program of the La Caixa Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Gisela Corominas, and I am the coordinator of the Doctoral INPhINIT Fellowships Program of La Caixa Foundation. I am part of the Research Fellowships team, and together with me there is my colleague Maria Serra, who is also part of the research fellowships team. And together we will deliver this information session. We will first devote about 30 minutes doing our presentation, delivering the presentation, and then we'll have some time to address your questions. Please write your questions to the chat box. I would recommend perhaps to first listen to the presentation, and then if you still have doubts, please write them on the chat box. And please try to ask questions, general questions, not very specific about personal situations, because these kind of questions must be addressed preferably through email, sending us an email afterwards. So please keep these private situations private, and then please just ask general questions that may be useful for everyone that has joined the session. Okay, so I will now share the presentation. Okay, so the session today will be divided into these 4 different sections. First of all, we will talk about the La Caixa Foundation's fellowships program. Then we will talk about the selection process. Then we will explain how competitive our fellowships are. And finally, we will talk about how to apply to our fellowships and how to apply to our fellowships. Just a bit, well, so we will give you some tips on how to apply to these fellowships. Okay, so now, just wait a moment, because I will stop a while the presentation and share it again. Okay, perfect. So since 1982 at La Caixa Foundation, which is a foundation based in Barcelona, Spain, we have been promoting excellent training and brilliant research at the world-based universities and research centers. We have delivered, well, we have 4, nowadays we are running 4 different programs, which cover all the stages of higher education: undergraduate, postgraduate, doctoral, and postdoctoral. So we have a program of bachelor fellowships. Then we have also another program, which is the postgraduate fellowships abroad, the doctoral INPhINIT fellowships incoming and retaining, which is the doctoral about we will talk today, and then the postdoctoral junior leader fellowships. So today we will talk about the doctoral INPhINIT fellowships. As you can see here, I will show you some relevant data, some relevant figures about this program. This program is aimed at supporting the best scientific talent and promote innovative, high-quality research in Spain and in Portugal. This call 2026, we are awarding 30 incoming fellowships and 30 retaining fellowships. We have 2 different frames, the incoming and the retaining. I will talk more about it later on. The fellowship has a duration of a maximum of 4 years, and the average cost per fellowship is 161,200 euros. Here you can see from the date, well, the year 2005, when we started to award postgraduate fellowships in Spain and doctoral fellowships in Spain until now. During these 20 years, we have invested a total of more than 43 million euros for these fellowships, which implies a total number of 1,000, more than 900 fellowships. So this shows the big commitment of our institution towards funding excellent research. So the key features of our Doctoral INPhINIT fellowships in Spain and in Portugal are the following. First of all, these are fellowships to pursue a doctorate in universities or research centers in Spain or in Portugal. They have a duration, as I have already said, of a maximum of 4 years. And besides the financial aid, they include a set of training on cross-disciplinary skills. Throughout the 4 years of the fellowship, we deliver 3 different residential training sessions about transversal skills such as leadership, scientific communication, well-being, etc. So this is like an added value of our fellowship besides the economic aid. The fellowship amount is divided into 3 different categories. The first one is the annual payments for the labor costs. So the fellowship each year awards this 35,800 euros for labor costs. So these are this is the cost of the contract. This is not the annual gross salary. So this amount, this 35,800 euros, is the amount that the host institution that hires the fellow receives. So to issue the contract for the fellow. And finally, this is translated more or less in 25,000 euros of annual gross salary. This is the minimum gross salary, annual gross salary that you will receive. The fellowship also includes an annual allowance of 3,500 euros for research costs. So, for example, this amount can be used to cover equipment or to cover expenses related to travels, courses, always related to your research, for example. And there is another category, which is the allowance to cover the doctoral program enrollment fees. There is no limit in this allowance, so the fellowship covers the tuition fees each year, regardless the cost is. In terms of eligibility, the requirements that you must fulfill in order to be considered eligible for this call, first of all, is to have a degree that makes you eligible to start a doctorate in Spain or in Portugal, starting from September 2026. So normally a bachelor and a master's degree, but there are also other situations of other countries that perhaps you have a specific title, a specific degree that makes you eligible to start a doctorate in Spain or in Portugal in September. So when you apply to the fellowship, perhaps you are still pursuing your master's degree. That's very common. You can apply, but you have to make sure that in September you will have finished this degree and you will be able to enroll in a PhD program. Another requirement is that candidates must not have been enrolled in a doctoral program prior to the start of the fellowship. So this is because these fellowships are to start a doctorate from the very beginning. So we do not fund continuation of doctorates. So please be aware that your first enrollment with the fellowship must be in the academic year 26 and 27. 26, 27. This is the academic year where you were first enrolled in a PhD program through the fellowship. The research experience, you must be in the first 4 years of research activity. So that means that if you do not have done research ever, you can be eligible. But if you have been already involved in research, so you have carried out research activity, the maximum time that you are allowed you have been dedicating to research, the maximum number of years is 4 years of research activity full-time. More than 4 years, if you have more than 4 years of research activity full-time, you will not be eligible. You must have an advanced level of English. You will see in our program rules that are available in our website the different certificates that we consider eligible and the minimum score that you must have in order to be considered eligible in terms of the level of English. For the retaining fellowship, there is an additional requirement, which is that in case you have the fellowship, in case you win the fellowship, you must enroll in a university. You must do the doctoral enrollment in a university different than the one where you pursued your undergraduate studies. And there is also the mobility requirement, which is different depending on if you are applying in the incoming or the retaining frame. And I will talk about this mobility requirement later on. Okay. This is the timeline for this call 2026. We opened our call in this month, 3 weeks ago, more or less. The incoming modality will close on the 28th of January, 2026. The retaining frame will close on the 18th of February. The interviews, those who pass the preselection stage, the shortlisting stage, will be called into the interviews, which is the final selection step of the process, will take place for the incoming modality on May 20th, 21st, and 22nd, and for the retaining modality on June 11th and 12th. The results for the incoming modality will be published at the end of May, and the results for the retaining will be published at the end of June. And the fellowships must start between September and November 2026. And in very exceptional cases, such as delays in obtaining visas or work permits, etc., these situations, we will allow them to start the fellowship until the 31st of January 2027. Okay, what are the incoming and retaining modalities? I have told at the beginning of the presentation that we have different programs. We have the doctoral fellowships program and the postdoctoral one. In these programs, we have two frames, the incoming and the retaining. The incoming, for which we are offering, as I have said, 30 fellowships. The objective is to attract the best international researchers to centers of research excellence in Spain and in Portugal. Candidates can be of any nationality, but they must fulfill the mobility requirement. So I will now explain what the mobility requirement is. In the incoming, those candidates that want to do research in Spain must have resided in Spain less than 12 months in the last 3 years. And those candidates that want to do research in Portugal must have resided in Portugal less than 12 months in the last 3 years. The incoming frame only addresses to candidates that would like to do the doctorate in STEM disciplines. So that means science, technology, engineering, mathematics, chemistry, physics. We include also here life science and health sciences, but not humanities and social sciences. And another feature of the incoming modality is that the host institutions that will join the fellows must have an accreditation seal of excellence in Spain and in Portugal. I will talk about it in a while. For the retaining, okay, in the retaining modality, we will also award 30 fellowships. And in this case, the objective is to retain the best researchers in universities and research centers in Spain and in Portugal. Candidates can be of any nationality, and they must fulfill the mobility requirement for the retaining frame. So that means that those who want to do the research in Spain must have resided more than 12 months in Spain in the last 3 years, and those that want to do the research in Portugal must have resided more than 12 months in Portugal in the last 3 years. These fellowships in the these doctoral retaining fellowships can be of all disciplines of research, okay, not only STEM, but also humanities and social sciences. And the institutions that are eligible in this case are all the research institutions and universities in Spain and in Portugal, even though if they do not have an excellent research seal. Okay, what are these accredited research centers in Spain and in Portugal that the host institutions for the incoming modality must fulfill? These are we talk about in Spain, the Severo Ochoa Excellence Seal, the María de Maeztu Excellence Seal, and the Carlos III Health Institute's accreditation. Okay, so these seals are awarded by the Spanish Ministries of Health and of Science. You will find in our website, in the Doctoral INPhINIT Fellowships website, in the section Incoming, the list of these specific research centers that have this accreditation. And actually, when you open your application, if you choose and you fulfill the requirements for the incoming frame, you will see that when you choose the destination center, only the accredited research centers appear. In Portugal, these excellent research centers are the ones that have the Seal of Excellence awarded by the FCT, the Fundação para a Ciência e Tecnologia de Portugal. And also we have the list for these 79 accredited units of research in Portugal. Training and support. Okay, I have talked about the economic benefits of the fellowship, and I have said also that we have another benefit which is not economical, but it's the training and support courses that we offer from Lacaille Foundation as part of the fellowship. The objective is to promote the personal skills that will help the fellows to complete their doctorate and become a successful researcher. That is why we think that providing them with transversal skills such as scientific communication, well-being, relationship with the supervisor is of great value for them. We want also to promote the knowledge of the European research ecosystem and also explain the opportunities that exist outside academia. And this is also to foster a sense of community and interchange among the fellows, because if you are a Lacaille Fellow, you are part of the community of fellows of Lacaille Foundation, the Alumni Beques Association. This community is made up of all the people that has got Lacaille Foundation Fellowship since 1982. Since 1982, actually, through this community of fellows, we have been organizing networking activities to promote a cohesive community and a sense of belonging, as well as, of course, fostering the links between the fellows through networking activities, talks, guided tours, and monthly newsletter, etc. This is for us a very valuable asset of our fellowships. We are very proud of this community because we think and we are sure that this brings you a high benefit to knowing other fellows from your same discipline or other disciplines with whom you can collaborate in the future, of course. Okay, now I will move on to the selection process section. Our programs, except another program, which is the Bachelor Fellowships, but both the Doctoral INPhINIT Fellowships and the Postdoctoral and the Postgraduate Fellowships have three different phases of selection. The first one is the eligibility check, where our technical office verifies if the candidacies comply with the eligibility requirements. Those candidacies that do not fulfill one or more eligibility requirements are rejected. All those eligible candidacies pass on to the next stage, which is the shortlisting stage, where the candidacies are evaluated remotely by a minimum of three, sometimes two, but normally three experts that evaluate from home or from their workplace the applications. Those applications that pass this shortlisting stage are invited to the interview, which is the final step of selection. In this interview, candidates, so shortlisted candidates, are interviewed by a committee, which is formed by between 5 and 6 evaluators. And this is done through a hybrid mode. So the candidates are connected online through the Zoom platform, and the evaluators are in the headquarters of Lacaille Foundation here in Barcelona, physically, face-to-face, and they interview the candidates that are connected online via Zoom. The evaluators use an evaluation scale, both in the shortlisting and the interview phase, use an evaluation scale that goes from 1 to 8, being 1 very poor and 8 exceptional. The shortlisting stage, what are the criteria for this stage? Okay, so in this case, the criteria are the following. In first place, so the most critical aspect in the shortlisting phase is the grades, so the transcripts of records for the master's and the bachelor's degree, and the CV, which is, this has a weight of 50%. Then the motivation and statement of purpose. This is, the statement of purpose is the memory, the report that you will write in 3 pages, where you will explain what you want to do and what you intend to do, what is your background, and why are you the person to do that. This has a weight of 30%. And then the reference letters, you will have to submit a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 5 reference letters. And this has a weight of 20%. This for the shortlisting phase. And for the interview phase, there are also 3 criteria. The first one is the candidate's potential. How are you capable of do what you intend to do? 30% is the motivation and impact of the statement of purpose, and a 30% if your background. The academic and professional, if you have professional background, will have a weight of 30%. I recommend you to look at our selection process guidelines that are available in our website, because they explain in more detail all these criteria and what expect the evaluators to what they will evaluate of your candidacy. And now I pass the floor to my colleague Maria Serra, and she will talk about how the fellowships, how competitive are our fellowships, and how to apply to our fellowships.
Thank you, Gisela, and good morning, everyone. So you are probably wondering how easy or how difficult it is to get granted in one of our competitive calls. And we have some data to show you. If you look at these graphs, we are showing information that combine all the programs that we offer from our department. So there's the 4 different fellowships programs that Gisela was talking about. And as you can see, the number of applications has increased through the years from 2014 to 2025, so the last call. Also, the number of fellowships that we offer keeps increasing. So as you can see, an average of all the programs, they have a success rate of above 5%. Okay. Looking at the numbers of applications that we received, the previous call, the 2025 call, you can see for this total of 4,800 applications that we got last year, 1,500, a bit more, correspond to the bachelor studies call, 1,140 correspond to the postgraduate abroad fellowships, and then the ones that you are most interested in, the Doctoral INPhINIT fellowships. We got a total of 1,000 and more than 300 applicants. For the postdoctoral junior leader fellowships that you might be able to apply in the future, we got 751 applicants. Consider that for both the Doctoral INPhINIT fellowships and the postdoctoral junior leader fellowships, we have the 2 frames that Gisela was explaining to you, the incoming frame and the retaining frame, depending on the mobility in the previous 3 years for each applicant. Usually we get more applicants in the retaining frame. So this is the combination of all 4 programs, and looking at on the right, you will see the specific numbers of the INPhINIT doctoral fellowships call from 2025, when we got 1,300 submitted applications, from which the vast majority were eligible. Almost 1,200 were eligible, and from which we pre-selected 150 applications. We interviewed 150 candidates, and we finally granted 60 fellowships after interviewing 90 persons. Sorry, I got confused. So we had 60 fellowships, 30 for the incoming frame and 30 for the retaining frame. Remember that we interview 2 candidates per fellowship in the case of the incoming frame, and we interview 3 candidates per fellowship in the retaining frame to keep the success rate closer to each other. Okay, so how can you apply? Going back to practical things, you will need to access the platform for applications that we are showing now. You have here the link. We have been using, this is the second year that we will be using this platform for applications, and we are still working in this platform for applications. Some of you, if you applied to the fellowship the last year, you might be able to, might be already familiar with it, and you will be able to recover your previous application and see it. You will need to register as usual, and then once inside, you will need to decide which fellowship program you want to apply to. Consider that we right now have both programs, 2 different programs opened, the postgraduate fellowship, the postgraduate abroad fellowships, and the doctoral INPhINIT fellowships. So you need to know which fellowship you want to apply to. You cannot apply to both on the same call. And if you choose if you want to go for the doctoral INPhINIT fellowships, you need to know if you are eligible to the incoming frame or the retaining frame. So please read carefully the rules of our calls and decide which is actually the program that you want to apply to, and let us know if there was any question. Okay, so once inside, you will choose, you want to apply to one of the 2 programs of the Doctoral INPhINIT fellowships, and you will need to complete the different sections as usually. We are putting down here a link that is directing you if you had applied previously to previous calls before we actually started to use this platform. So before 2025, you will be able to even access the old platform for applications and see your past applications from 2024 or before that. Okay, going back to the application today, you will need to complete all these different sections. The call information will appear by default, but then complete your personal data that will be partly coming from the registration process, but then the studies to be pursued, the reference letter section, your statement of purpose, and your CV. Okay, so I need to mention a few things to be practical because there might be some questions. Under studies to be pursued, you will be asked the name of the studies or program that you are considering. Please remember that what we want here is the official name of the doctoral program of the university is offering. We don't want you to type here and like sometimes we get things like pre-doctoral fellowship or PhD. We want to see here the name of the doctoral program from the university, okay? Then down, you will need to select the country in which you want to perform your PhD, depending on the program, of course. And once you have selected either Spain or Portugal, you will need to save draft before you can complete the other fields, the city and the university or center in which you will be developing or carrying out your PhD. Also, I want you will we will talk. Can we go back a second? So I will talk later about the reference letters as a screen capture. But I want to mention something here when you access the CV, the curriculum vitae section. I want to point that we have included a request for you to indicate which are the studies that actually make you eligible to a doctoral program or to PhD studies. When you access the curriculum vitae section, it will ask you to enter every studies that you have, every degree that you have, and it will ask you if for each of them, it will ask you if it is or it is not the degree that makes you eligible to a doctoral program or to PhD studies, okay? It is usually a master degree, most of the cases, but it might not be the case. And we need to know which is the degree that makes you eligible to this fellowship and to a doctoral program. Okay. Okay, so in the application process, it is also very important that you choose very well which is the shortlisting panel corresponding to the panel that will be assessing your candidacy in the pre-selection process. So we have grouped all the areas of knowledge in 4 big areas of knowledge: humanities and arts, social sciences, life sciences, and physical science, mathematics, and engineering. So within this one of these 4 big areas of knowledge, please choose carefully which will be the shortlisting panel, because this is the specific field of expertise of the person that will evaluate your candidacy in the pre-selection stage. If you pass the pre-selection stage, you will be invited to an interview in which you will be assessed by a multidisciplinary panel of expert evaluators corresponding to all these subfields within one big area of knowledge. So please remember, you will need to choose, please, first your area of knowledge, and then more specifically the shortlisting panel that will determine who is reading your candidacy in the pre-selection stage. Okay, this is also very important, the reference letter section. You will be asked you need to request the reference letters to your referees, and this will be done through the system. But this section will not be open, and it will not be possible for you to send these invitations for your referees to send your letter of recommendation until you have completed some previous parts of the application, more specifically the studies to be pursued tab. So when you complete the studies to be pursued section, this button unlock reference letters will become activated, and in that moment you will be able to request your reference letters. Okay, remember, you can request up to 5 reference letters. And we remember and we ask you to please complete this section as soon as possible, as soon as it is possible for you to complete the studies to be pursued section and send the invitations, since this can be a limiting factor in the moment that you are able to send the application. So if you don't have the minimum reference letter requested, by the deadline, you will not be able to send the application. So please be sure to send these requests well in advance so that the referees, which usually are very busy persons, are able to write your letters and send a good reference letter for you. Okay, and to finalize, some advice: please read carefully the terms and conditions and the frequently asked questions of our calls. Choose carefully which is the call that you want to apply to. You can apply in this call, you can apply to the INPhINIT fellowships or the postgraduate fellowships abroad. Only one of them, you cannot apply to both. So read carefully what is actually what is your what you prefer, and let us know if there's questions. There is also contact if there's questions on your incoming or retaining eligibility. You can contact us in this email address, fellowships@contact.fundacionlacaixa.org. Second advice, the letters of reference. Please contact your referees as soon as possible, sufficiently in advance so they can have time to write a good letter for you. The statement of purpose, we recommend that you are clear and concise and that you request advice from experts or mentors that can help you. And finally, remember the deadline, start your application and collect the required documents well in advance so that you can have all the documentation ready and you can send your application well before the deadline. And to finalize, I leave you here with references if you want to share our information in the social media. You have here our references on Twitter, on the X platform. You have here our contact email if you want to follow us on Instagram, etc. Thank you so much. We are ready to answer any questions you might have. As Gisela said, if there are specific personal questions, please contact the email address, and we are here to answer any doubts that on the rules of the call or generalities of the fellowship. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we will start to read the questions. But before, I just would like to stress that actually, as Maria said, we have two calls open, the Doctoral INPhINIT, with the INPhINIT incoming and the INPhINIT retaining modalities, and also the postgraduate fellowships abroad. But please make sure if you would like to be informed on the postgraduate fellowships abroad, please bear in mind that this is only addressed to Spanish and Portuguese candidates, okay? That's important because the Doctoral INPhINIT is open to any nationality, but the postgraduate is open only to Spanish and Portuguese candidates. Okay, so the first question. And if a person was previously enrolled in a different PhD, not finished, and wants to begin a new one, are they still eligible? No. No, absolutely not, because this is for starting a PhD from zero and for the first time. Do the annual payments of 35,000 euros for labor cover or our full tuition fees? The labor costs is a category, and another category is the tuition fees. So there are separate categories, and there is another category which is the research cost, which is 3,500 euros. But the tuition fees is another category, and it covers the full tuition fees of your program each year. Okay. I have a question about admission requirements. If I graduate in October 26, will I be able to apply still? Well, you have to make sure that you can enroll in a PhD program between September and November. If you are only able to enroll in a PhD program, let's say from January, you are not eligible and you would have to wait until next call, 2027. Okay, because as you will see in the program rules, fellowships must start between September and November, the 1st of September and the 30th of November. And the enrollment must take place during these months. If you graduate in October and you are able to enroll in October or November, it's okay, right? For the retaining program, I have pursued my master at the Faculty of Science and now will pursue the PhD at the Faculty of Engineering. Does it makes me eligible for the retaining program? It depends on the university. So you have a bachelor issued by one university. I don't know what university, but by one university. And you have to, if you apply for the retaining frame, you have to apply for a doctoral program in a different university. We do not talk about faculties or etc., but universities. Okay. Now, how are the months of residence calculated for the incoming? Is it less than 12 months one has lived in Spain or Portugal up to the application deadline? Yes, the reference is the deadline for applications, exactly. And you will see also in the fact section some examples of candidates that we have invented, let's say, examples that could be real of candidates that have lived in a country and then have moved and then have gone back to the same country, etc. And then you will see there these examples that may be useful for you to understand how it works. But anyway, the reference is the deadline for the call, the incoming 28th of January and the retaining 18th of February. Are these doctorates only for science studies? I don't know, perhaps Maria, if you want to answer this question.
So actually for the incoming frame, only applications involving a statement of purpose and doctoral studies on STEM fields are eligible. But for the retaining fellowships, also applications involving social sciences and arts and humanities are eligible.
Am I eligible to pursue a doctoral program if the university is different to my bachelor studies, but is the same institution where I pursued my master studies? I guess you're referring to the retaining modality. So I understand that you are saying that if you can do the doctorate in the same university where you did your master's, the answer is yes. What has to be different is the university where you did your bachelor. So the bachelor and the doctorate cannot be the same university. Regarding the section indicate the name of the PhD program as it is offered by the university, does this mean we have to have selected one specific PhD program with one university for the moment of applying for the INPhINIT? Well, here in principle, you have to select. You have to write a specific PhD program as it is offered by the university, but it doesn't mean that if you win the fellowship, you have to strictly enroll in that PhD program. I mean, this is not binding what you write in your online application. Perhaps you change opinion and you prefer another PhD program, but this has to be in the same research field because, well, the experts have evaluated you according to what you wrote. But perhaps you write the PhD program in physics at the University of Barcelona, and then at the end you prefer the program in physics at the Autonomous University in Madrid. I mean, that's okay. That's not a problem. But make sure if you are thinking about the retaining modality that you choose a university different than the one where you did your bachelor studies. I don't know, Maria, if there is something to add here. I don't think so. Okay. If I will be putting both my bachelor's degree and my master's degree that I will be getting at the end of September 2026, should I indicate that both degrees make me eligible for the program or just the master's degree? So here, you will see that you can only choose one degree. You can only identify one degree as main study, as the study that makes you eligible for the fellowship. So you cannot choose two degrees and select, yes, these are my main studies and these are the ones that make me eligible. So in that case, if you have pursued the bachelor and the master, in that case, I guess that the master should be identified as the studies that make you eligible for the PhD program, if I have understood properly the question. Do I need my PhD institution supervisor to apply or complete any procedure too? No, the application is done only by the candidate, by the person that wants to do the PhD. Of course, that we recommend to perhaps your PhD supervisor or another expert or professor that you know, that or a colleague that can read your statement of purpose and perhaps give you some tips or some advice. It's highly recommendable, but the supervisor or the institution do not have to take any action regarding your application, your online application and the submission process. Just the referees. The referees, of course, they must do an action, which is to send on time the reference letter. Is it possible to pursue a co-tutela PhD program, a joint doctoral program between two universities, one Portuguese and one Spanish? Well, we should have more information about the situation. We have had fellows that have done these co-tutel PhD programs, but we need to have more information in order to say yes or no. So perhaps you can just write us an email and explain us what are your plans. Is it possible to apply if we have a co-direction of thesis and one site is from a Spanish institution, but the other one is an institution in the UK? Well, it's the same question or very similar to the one that I have just answered. So I ask you please to send us an email and explain us a little bit in more detail what are you thinking about, and we will see if that's possible or not. If I have a very recent PhD contract, but I have not enrolled to any doctoral university program yet, am I eligible for the retaining fellowship? No. If you have already started a predoctoral contract, you are not eligible, because the start date of the fellowship must be the same as the start date of the contract. The fellowship has a duration of 4 years, and this is the same duration as a predoctoral contract can have. They have a maximum duration of 4 years, and that is why we make that both durations, the contract and the fellowships, has the same duration. So 4 years of fellowships with the same start date. Okay. I have been conditionally admitted to a PhD. Am I still eligible? If you have just the admission, in principle, you are eligible. What you cannot be is enrolled in an academic year before 26-27 academic year, okay? Because the first enrollment must be in the academic year 26-27. But if you have only the admission, in principle, there is no problem. But if you are enrolled, for example, into 25-26 academic year, you wouldn't be eligible, because 26-27 will not be the first year of enrollment. That would be the second. So that would not be possible. In the statement of purpose, is it necessary to specify the specific project I will work on during the PhD program, or is it enough to describe the type of PhD I intend to pursue? Actually, you are not required to present a research plan and with the detail of the process, the research project that you want to do. But if you already know it, you can write it. I mean, it's up to you, because not all candidates are in the same stage, let's say. Some candidates, perhaps they have done the master in the same research group that they will do the doctorate, and they have a clearer idea of what they will do in the doctorate. So they of course can provide more details, but sometimes candidates do not know exactly at the moment of application what will be exactly the doctoral research. Well, they will not know perhaps in detail their doctoral research, so they just have to explain a little bit more what are their main interests. I haven't seen any age limits in the program, but it seems to be oriented to youth. Are there less chances to get if we are older, let's say over 30? It's true, there is no age limit. The limit is experience in research. I have said that if you have more than 4 years of experience in research full time, you are not eligible. You do not, I mean, I would not say that you have less chances to get the fellowship if you're older. Actually, almost every year we have fellows which are older than let's say, the average age, which would be between 26-27, but we always have older fellows, because here the criteria is the excellence, to fund excellence regardless the age of the candidate. Okay. I saw in the call the evaluation will strongly consider the social scientific relevance of the topic. I understood it as having a clear impact. So, for example, this would disqualify more philosophical topics. Could you please explain? I don't know if I understand correctly the question. But I would, I don't know if you have had the chance to read the selection process guidelines. I think that you will find there a clear explanation on what is understood as the impact of the proposal, both in the career of the fellow and also societal impact. And to be honest, I would, I don't know if what exactly is more philosophical topics, because if you are referring to the topic of your research in philosophy, I'm not the person to answer this question. I'm sorry, but anyway, I recommend you to read the selection process guidelines. Perhaps Maria has another idea, an additional idea.
So if I may add something, so we say amongst many things that the evaluators will be asked to assess, we can say whether the proposal we have a social impact, right? If it's gonna help make our lives better, or in any way, we obviously when we talk about this, we are talking about applied sciences, and it is not that we are not interested in more theoretical fields. We are actually, if it's plain philosophy, but in this case, please explain what is going to be the impact of your research in your area of knowledge. So we understand that some areas of knowledge are theoretical, and we fund many projects on more theoretical fields. But in this case, you need to explain how is your research gonna change or make your field evolve. Okay, thank you. But obviously, if you are working in translational medicine, then explain why is your research gonna how is it gonna impact society.
Thank you, Maria. Can the PhD supervisor be one of the researchers who write the reference letters? It's not, I mean, we do not have specific rules on who has to write or cannot write the reference letters. Please go to the selection process guidelines to have more information. The PhD supervisor can write the reference letter, but also the independence of the expert or the professor that is writing the letter is also taken into account, okay? But I mean, it's not an incompatibility that your PhD supervisor writes your one of your minimum of 3 reference letters. Okay, next question. So the grades that will be taken into account during the evaluation is the master's grades. No, all the grades are taken into account, both the bachelor's and the master's. Okay, just you have to write, you have to identify what is the degree that makes you eligible for the PhD program, just to check the eligibility requirements, but both transcripts of records will be taken into account. For the English certificate, does it matter if the certificate was issued more than 2 years ago? My certificate is from 2020. It is the CAE from Cambridge. It is not a problem if it was issued 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, we do not take this into account. The important thing is that the certificate is one of the ones that we indicate in the rules for applications, and it has the minimum score, okay, that we also specify in the rules. Next question. If I am awarded a predoctoral grant, such as one from the Ramon Areces Foundation or the Spanish Association Against Cancer, but I do not accept it, would I be eligible for the fellowship? Of course, if you do not accept it, in principle, you are eligible for the fellowship. The important thing here is that you will be eligible to start the fellowship if you have not started any predoctoral contract and if you have not been enrolled in a PhD program before academic year 26-27, okay? Can we receive funding outside the scholarship for equipment? Well, I have talked about the 3 different categories of the fellowship amount: the salary costs and the research costs and the tuition costs. So the research costs, which is 3,500 euros per year, covers equipment expenses. Okay, another question. Is the monthly stipend tax-free? Well, the program is called Doctoral INPhINIT Fellowships, but actually it is not a fellowship, it's a contract. So the fellowship is the amount that the host institution will receive to hire you. So you will have an employment contract, and this is taxed. Okay, that is why I said before that the amount for salary cost is 35,800 euros, because then you have to subtract the taxes, and then the annual gross salary will be a minimum of 25,000 euros per year. Okay, I think that's all from our side. Thank you so much for your attention.
Sorry, I think there was a question that we have not, if I am not wrong.
Is it required to have the research proposal for applying? I have already answered this question before. I've said that there is not necessary to write a research proposal because it depends.
This one, the 15th, regarding the areas in which our applicants applications will be evaluated, the amount of grants and fellowships, 30 per program, will be divided equally between each category. And there is a limit of applicants or granted people per category. So the answer, I mean, you have all the details of the selection process in very detailed manual that you can read, but overall, the number of applicants that will be pre-selected depends on the number of applications that we have for each subfield, and then and there is no limitation on the number of fellowships that we can grant to one specific field.
Okay, thank you, Maria, for paying attention to the question that was not answered. So thank you so much. Perhaps there are more questions that have not been answered, but we have limited time to address all the questions that we receive. But of course, please, those questions that have not been answered, please send us an email to the address that we have already shared with you, and we will answer it as soon as we can. Thank you so much for your attention, and well, we wish you good luck in your process of application and the selection process, of course. Okay, have a nice day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.